Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Me First Mornings. I am your host and energy alchemist, Patricia Rivera Wolfson. I'm an intuitive coach, an energy healer, a wife and mom of 3 boys. And my mission is to teach you how to calibrate your energy, how to integrate self-care into easy and doable steps, and how to shine your light in the world in your own unique way. It's so important. That's why you're here. You're here to shine your light however you want it to shine. So let's get right into it today. We're going to talk about the mathematics of achieving balance. This is a really interesting episode for me, and it was a really interesting realization, epiphany that I had yesterday. I had a vision, and I get messages through visions, through like sometimes just like a word or a sentence comes to me, and I will share another sort of sentence that came to me that will be a little shift that we're going to do in our breathing exercises. Still the same thing, but in terms of visualization, I came up with a new visualization. And the other thing was I had this vision of a scale, right? Because we always talk about balance. And honest to God, most of the time I hear people talk about balance, I literally want to vomit, because I'm like, balance is an illusion. It is baloney. It is just not something that anybody really achieves. And well, I'm here to say that I've changed my mind a little bit, because I still believe that there is this illusion of what balance means, and that's really what I've come here to talk about today. Is that I'm looking at balance more like alignment, right? When you're in alignment, you feel balanced, right? It's not about equal time doing, all the things you love, although certainly we try to do that, right? We try to give our attention and focus to the things that we love and give each thing that we love our attention and focus, much like children, right? I have 3 kids, and each one needs their own time and attention from me, not just a collective time together. And the same goes for our dreams and our aspirations, our intentions in life, right? Everything deserves our time and attention, but we can get kind of lost and frustrated and disconnected from life when we feel like we're not giving our time and attention to the things that we love, because there is so much of obligation and responsibilities that we need to handle. And there's only so much you can take, right? It's like keeps going on your back. You just keep like piling things in. And so that's hard. But today I'm actually going to take a mathematical approach to balance, AKA alignment. And oh, hi, Mom. You're going to love this one because I'm using math today. Although I was going to say I'm not using an actual equation, but I am using an equation. We're going to talk a little bit more about that after. But I just want to let you know there is kind of a formula for balance, right? But what we're talking about is energetic balance. And we're talking about, two side, it's not 2 sides. It is like feeling connected to and in balance with the things that you want, right? So that you are on equal footing, right? On the same frequency and the same vibration. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. And if you have not yet downloaded your GPS workbook, now's a really great time to do it before we set our intentions today. Go ahead and download your free GPS workbook. Just like 5 pages or something. I'm going to ask you questions. It's not like 5, single space pages. It's just like questions to ask you to help you figure out what your GPS word is. And the GPS word is, your own personal sort of positioning system, your alignment system, your balance system, right? So that you can figure out what word, what feeling captures the essence that you want to embody each and every day, right? We all have things that we want, but at the end, or at the foundation of the things that we want, is the feeling that we think that thing that we want is going to give us, right? So it's like, I want money, or I want abundance. What we want is maybe to feel freedom, the freedom that abundance gives you. Maybe, you say you want peace, but what you want is just to be able to sort of hear your own thoughts, and have time to go within. Right? It's not that it has to be peaceful all the time. It's not that you have to be like, rolling in money all the time, but just you want to feel taken care of, right? So figure out for you what that word is, and we will bring that up in today's intentional prayer. My mom, I knew math would come in handy at some point in your life. Let me tell you, especially like during the pandemic, and I had to help the kids do math. Especially my oldest, when I started doing seventh grade math last year. Seventh grade math right now these days is no joke. I just want to say. And so I kind of relearned math with my kids, and where it used to be a struggle for me, I have actually come to understand it in a completely different way, and now I kind of love math. That's my confession for you guys. Mom, believe it or not, I love math. And you know what's the best? Is one of my kids said that I'm really good at math. And that made me feel so good. And I think he was just trying to, like, make me feel good, but I don't care. The fact that it was even a topic and even a suggestion, it still made me feel good, because you know what? I am good at math now, because I get things from a different perspective. Anyway, just to say that that everybody can grow and evolve, and even the things that you resist in your life eventually can become something that you welcome, accept, and embrace, and even get good at. All right. Yes, Mom, thank you. I deserve claps for that. I do. I learned PEMDAS last year like nobody's business, and now I look at questions and I'm like, gotta do the PEMDAS. If you know, you know. All right. Okay. So let's start our morning ritual by lighting the candle, and we're going to take our deep breaths together. I said I was going to share with you one of the messages that I received yesterday in the evenings when I do sort of a little cleansing ritual, which is just like taking makeup off my face and kind of zoning in and thinking and just kind of meditating, sort of like a moving meditation in my own way, when I'm like, what I like to call sort of like turning down or slowing down, or just like, God, there was a better word I had yesterday and I can't think of it today. But when you're like just taking things down a notch at the end of the day, you're slowing down, you're sort of releasing things. I have this little ritual that I've talked about before, where I just, remove my makeup, and, I use that time to also remove any limiting beliefs. I intend that cleansing routine is also cleansing my energy, and that's something that you can do. Okay, so right now we lit the candle. I'm going to use my new essential oil roller, because I definitely want to amplify this breathing exercise, because, as I said, I got put that in my heart area. I really got this download, okay? And download, vision, message, I don't know, call it whatever the hell you want. My whole life, I used to always get, I guess, what people call downloads, where you'd get information, and I would get full ideas or visions or whatever, but I didn't really know where that came from. I wrote an album in was it in 1999? 2001. I wrote an album, or I think I released it in 2001. Anyway, I wrote this album, and I remember sitting on a weekend, and I was at a friend's house. Actually, it was an ex-boyfriend's house, his parents' house, beach house in New Jersey. And so we're literally there's a dock and there's water and it's beautiful weather. And I just sat there and I wrote 6 out of the 10 songs of my first album. and they just poured out of me. And, yes, that's creativity, but that's also connecting with the flow. That's also channeling. And I used to do that all the time. And I've come to realize that because that's part of the work, is recognizing how we are connected with the divine, how we are always connected through our art, through our words, through our feelings, right? We're always connected. And well, the feelings indicate whether or not you are, connected, or if you're feeling separate and disconnected. Anyway, I just wanted to share that because, I will be sharing like these ideas and thoughts and visions and words that I have come up on this show because I think it's important. So this vision, this word that I had for our breathing exercise today, which is what we're going to implement, was when we take deep breaths, okay? The message that I heard was breathe so you can fill your wings, okay? Okay. So what we're going to do is when we take these deep breaths, and you can feel free to, I like to grab my clear crystal quartz, and you can do that if you want to grab a crystal. If not, you don't need it. But just when you're taking a deep breath, okay? And I seriously want you to imagine it this way. We're going to take a deep breath and fill our lungs like this. But as you're filling it, I want you to imagine that you're breathing in so deeply that you are almost like inflating your wings. Okay, so imagine that as you're breathing in, you are breathing in so deeply that if you had wings, you could extend the breath out to the very tips of them to fill them with light, okay? To fill them with life force energy, right? It literally, that's how I imagine, that was the vision that came to me, is like when you're breathing in, it's almost like they come out like they're inflatable, but they're not inflatable. But that's the feeling. Like if you're breathing in, and even though when you're inflating something, you blow out, but when you're breathing in, this is the vision that I had. I want you to breathe in and imagine that your wings are coming out and just filling up, okay? And I think this is where part of my vision had already come in, where I saw the energy kind of going like this, because the second part of that is that you have your feet well planted on the ground, as I have said every day. But the vision that I want you to hold, okay, and I've said it many different ways, but what I want you to think about is that your feet are well planted on the ground to charge you, right? So you put your feet on the earth to get charged, just like you plug in your phone into the sockets, right? Or into electricity. Here you are plugging your feet into the earth where you are going to recharge. So the whole purpose of this morning exercise is that we are going to basically, release our wings, right? Like open up, or waking up and taking a deep breath and just stretching every part of that energy, okay? And I want you to feel like your legs are literally charging you up, because that is the life force energy that is going to keep you going all day. And we're going to do that 3 times, okay? So I want you to do it with me. Deep breath in and hold and release. Okay, and I'm doing this just so you can help, it could help you visualize perhaps. And still, when you're breathing in, what you are calling in, what you are breathing in, is that beautiful light. Okay, we're still opening up the top of our head. Okay, we're still allowing in the liquid sunshine, and that beautiful, powerful healing light is still entering our body and just breaking apart all of the things that don't serve us, any stuck, stagnant, or dense energy. That's what we're doing. And we're just kind of like releasing it, right? We are stretching ourselves out. Imagine that you have wings, that you are beautiful butterfly, because we are all in the midst of transformation. And even though you may not see your wings yet, even if you don't get those wings, I want you to feel like you can fly. And I want you to feel yourself stretching out those, imaginary wings. Bon dia, sound, bon dia. Okay? So we're going to take a deep breath in. Again, you're going to stretch out those wings. Imagine that beautiful healing light all through your body is just breaking apart anything that doesn't serve you, and your feet well planted on the ground, charging up for your day. Okay, so you're like charging. All right, here we go. And release. Right on. Okay, and one more time. And release. Awesome. Whew! That felt good. Oh, now, okay, this makes the most sense. Like, honestly, I've been doing this intuitively for so long. But this is now like when I do this, right? It's to loosen things up, right? So, I mean, I know we don't have wings, okay? We don't need to send me to, get checked out or whatever. Um, Although I can't make any promises. But what we want to do is we want to loosen up our bodies, right? We want to remove any stuck or stagnant kind of energy from all over our body, any tension, any discomfort, okay? We want to feel the flow. We want to feel our body just releasing what doesn't work. We want to feel loose and light and in the flow, okay? So let's shake it out. Oh, don't have my bracelets today. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Beautiful. Okay. Now I am going to start. Oh no, before pulling the card, we got to say our prayer. Sorry. All right. So that felt really good, actually. So now I want you to think about your intention for the day and how do you intend on moving forward today? How do you intend on moving through the world? What is the feeling that you want more than anything? More than anything, how can you bring that feeling into your life in each and every moment as much as possible? This is what you're going to intend, and this is how we're going to ask for support. Divine Mother, Infinite Father, Creator, Ascended Masters, Archangels, Ancestors, Spirit Guides, and all beings of 100% pure white light, allow me to be a clear and open channel of your light and love without hesitation or ego. May the highest vibration of love and light connect with my higher self and release any and all things that no longer serve me. I ask that Saint Germain and his infinitely powerful violet flame burn away the things that no longer serve myself or humanity and hold us back from our divine existence. Help us to embody our intentions for the day and help us raise the collective vibration for the highest and greatest good of all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So be it, and so it is. That felt good. All right, so let's pull some cards. All right, well, we're going to pull one card. Tomorrow, I'll pull cards for everybody, so don't forget to please show up to our Fun Friday tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to Jumpstart for Change and subscribe so that you can get notifications of when I am doing the show. But just so you know, I am here every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. So go on to YouTube on Jumpstart for Change, subscribe, and ding that notification bell to make sure that you don't miss a thing. And Fridays are always fun Fridays, and I pull cards for people, and that's the most fun. So please feel free to join us, because if you show up live, then you get to have cards pulled. Okay. All right, hold on. I have some stuff to share with you guys because I actually not print it out, but set things up. All right. So let's talk about math and balance. Okay. So the thing that it's so funny because I have gotten to really enjoy math, but the thing that I've come to enjoy about it is that with math, there's always a solution, right? You either have the answer or you don't, right? There's no in between or gray areas in math. It's either equal to or it isn't equal to, right? Like that's it. Like there's no, maybe if the variable, maybe in really complicated like physics math, I'm sure there's some variable that I don't know about, but let's just stick to the simple stuff right now. So if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments. Be passionate about it because I only learned how to do PEMDAS like last year. All right, so for those of you who are watching in math, math whizzes, just be gentle with me. Anyway, let's go with the gray area only exists. Okay, so I wrote about this in the post. If you guys saw the post for the show, I feel like just like math balance, and it's not really balance. What I'm going to talk about really is alignment, because I feel that balance is being in alignment when you feel balanced, right? Because think about it, when you're off balance or off kilter, something doesn't feel right, something doesn't fit, right? And so that's how being out of alignment feels. Now, being in alignment is being connected to spirit, being connected to God, being connected to the source of all love, okay? And so when you are connected, you feel it. You feel connected, you feel whole. And honestly, the word balance comes up where you don't feel like wobbly, you don't feel unsure, you have clarity, you have confidence, you're connected, you're plugged in, you're tuned in, right? As Abraham Hicks says, tapped in, turned on, and tapped in, turned on, and tuned in, or tuned in, tapped on, turned, I don't know. I should know this. But anyway, you guys get what I'm saying. It is tapped in, tuned in, and turned on, I think. Turned on. Well, yeah, okay. Well, whatever works. Anyway, you're in the flow of the universe, or you're not. There really isn't any gray area. You're either like in it and you feel it, or you're like, something's off. And if you have any doubts, if you have any fears, if you have any anxieties, if you have any frustrations, right, you might be out of alignment. Now, not that you can't feel these things when you're in alignment, but when you're in alignment, you are in complete and total utter trust of your path. You have complete and utter faith that things are working out for you. So even if you're struggling, even if things suck and you can kind of feel overwhelmed or kind of sad about how things are in the moment, there is this hope, there is this connection where you're like, I know this is just temporary, and you can really like get into that feeling, right? So the feeling, so the gray area when we're talking about alignment, right, only exists when we're judging our experiences or holding on to our expectations of what we think should be happening instead of just being in the moment and feeling it, right? Because, how often do you find yourself judging your feelings, right? You might be jealous about something or someone, and you're like, like you feel jealous, but then you're pissed at yourself for feeling jealous. Or maybe you're sad about something and then you're mad at yourself for being sad. You're like, I shouldn't be sad. This is stupid. I should be over this. I thought I solved this problem already, right? And you're like, beat yourself up because you're judging your experience. You're judging your feelings and your emotions. But what you need to understand is that those feelings or emotions, they exist because of this, energetic feeling that you're getting, right? Like that it's triggering something, it's hitting some part of you that's creating this emotion, or that's connecting with that emotion in you. Something about that is bringing up that emotion. And so really all we need to do is look at that as information. This feeling is information. Wow, I'm feeling sad, and being curious about that feeling really does help, instead of focusing on, being angry, frustrated, or anything that you're feeling. And instead of judging yourself for it, be curious about it and be like, wow, that's interesting. I thought I wasn't going to feel this way, or I'm surprised that I feel this way. I wonder why I feel this way. And then that's when you can truly kind of like allow that feeling to be, and then move through you, and then allow that inner voice, that inner guidance, that higher self version of you. Then you can be open to allowing that part of you to talk you through those feelings if they're feeling uncomfortable, and maybe even talking through those feelings with talking through those feelings with a professional is always important, especially if it's like really, really deep-seated stuff that may be connected to trauma. But even on your own, just on the surface, you can kind of start taking a look at those things and looking at it from curiosity. Anyway, here is the whole thing about balance, okay, or alignment, right? And really about the feeling, because I want to go into it a little bit more, okay? So we're doing this math, okay? I'm going to do the math problem with you, okay? Right? So here we go. The feeling you want is X, okay? Right? So in algebra, right? X, X equals, C, X equals 5, X equals 2, X equals 3, whatever X equals, okay? So in today's mathematical equation, the feeling you want, right? So that GPS word, going back to, if you don't have the workbook yet, go right ahead and download the workbook, okay? So the feeling you want, whatever you come up with after doing that workbook, or what you think about today, that feeling, whether it's freedom, abundance, peace, connection, accomplishment, or whatever it is that you're feeling, that is X. And you have to define X, right? And that's the second part. The X is defined by you. Nobody else defines X. because the equation is yours, right? This is your equation, the equation to your life, right? Like you see those word problems in math, and it's like, John went to the store and bought 5 apples, and he gave 3 apples to Susie. And Susie now has how many apples or whatever? Susie gave one of her apples to Joe, and whatever the case may be, right? So each, each equation, each problem has, the people involved or the subjects involved, plus the numbers that are involved. So in this case, you're the person involved, right? The feeling is X, and the X is defined by you. So what is your X? What is the feeling that you're looking for? Okay, whatever that word is. So balance comes when you have achieved X, right? Because, and I want you to really take a look at this, okay? So if you have a scale, I wish I had a scale. So if you have, now we're talking like an old school scale, right? Like the 2 sides. I'm not talking about just a scale that you stand and you weigh yourself on, okay? We're talking about the 2 sides of the scale. What's really interesting is that when I thought of this idea yesterday, I had this total like vision. The scale showed up in my mind. And that's where this whole, talk came from, was because I was sent this image of the scale, and suddenly I understood how to explain frequency and balance, right? So here you have 2 sides of the scale, right? And so in order for them to be equal, they have to be the same. Hold on, I'm watching myself, okay? So they have to be the same. So this side has to be equal to this side in order for them to be the same. So if you think of the equation, right? The feeling you want is X, right? So let's say that's peace or freedom or balance. Maybe balance is the feeling you want, okay? So this, and where the scale is, let's pretend that's the frequency, right? So the frequency of this feeling is what you want, right? And we know that frequency is a scale, right? And moves, higher or lower, right? Like just like sound waves, low sound waves move slow, right? And they're like big waves. And then really high sound waves move like this, right? And they like, totally. So they're faster or slower. And that's a reference to the frequency, not a reference to hierarchy. Okay. So if you want this feeling has a certain frequency, right? And in order to get to this frequency, let's just look at it as weight for now, right? And so it weighs a certain amount, or it has a certain frequency, right? Then on this side, if you want what's here, this side has to energetically match it. So this frequency has to equal this one. So when you think about it, and only in terms of weight, it helps me to visualize, because let's say what you want is right here, right? And when we're born, we are equal to the frequency of what we want, right? Now, mind you, when we're born, our needs are simple, right? We want to be fed, we want to be loved, right? And and the way I envisioned it is, as we grow and as we are given the ideas and the structure that society, has, right? Sometimes that's going to change this, and it's going to make things a little bit heavier, right? Because it's like putting things on you, right? So you have to be this. You need to look like this. You need to achieve this, right? And so all this weight comes with those expectations and with those judgments, right? And so here you are on the scale, and what you want is here, but you are weighed down by these expectations, your own and others, society's expectations. The structures that exist can weigh us down, things that prevent us from releasing the weight, right? There's things that you just can't do because of your current situation or life or circumstances. That does happen. And so the key is to figure out how to shift and how to release what is holding you back and what is holding you down. And so you have to look at this and say, okay, what from this pile, right? What from exists in my life right now is not serving me, is holding me down, what is not contributing to achieving this feeling that I want, what is preventing me from connecting with this feeling, with experiencing this feeling, and what can I do over here to bring me closer? And that's one of the reasons why we feel so good when we declutter things, when we remove things from our life, when we release the things that don't serve us, because it makes us lighter, right? Energetically lighter. There are less things that we need to keep track of, right? Our minds are lighter, our bodies are lighter, our spirit feels lighter. We're more connected to it, right? So that's what's happening here. And so I hope you can see that visual. Good morning, Dad. Good morning. Okay, so the last thing that I really want to say with this, and I know we're running a little over time once again because I can't stop talking these days, is all other feelings. So we're looking for X, right? Once again, the feeling you want is X. That's your X, right? Which is this. The X is defined by you, okay? Balance comes when you have achieved X. All other feelings are valid, but they're not the answer that you're looking for. Okay, so if you're looking for peace, okay, and that's what you want more than anything, and you have chaos happening in your life, you may get something out of the chaos. You may even enjoy it. You may still want to achieve the peace, but there's something about it that you're getting from it. So there's nothing wrong with chaos, but it's not X. It does not solve your problem, right? It does not solve your formula. This needs to be equal to this. And if it's not equal, you need to figure out how to make it equal. Okay, so let's pull a card and see what our guides have to say about everything I just told you, okay? Because I know that may have been a lot of information. I hope it was an analogy that kind of helped you see things a little bit differently. It's all math, people. Believe it or not, and I am the first person to want to really laugh about that because I resisted math for so long, and now I'm like, oh, simple math. I mean, don't get me wrong, simple math is not always easy, but it is simple. It's just like, okay, X equals X. What does X mean to you? Figure that out and then figure out how to make it happen and how to create it in your life, or how to release the things that do not support or contribute to achieving X. That's how you can declutter. That's how you can cleanse and clear anything that doesn't serve you, is ask yourself, does this support or contribute toward, either my life, right? Because there's things that we need to do, because does it support or contribute to my life, or does it support or contribute to my dreams? And if the things around you in your life, whether they be people or places or experiences or thoughts or beliefs, if they do not support or contribute either your current life or your future dreams, then you need to get rid of it. You just need to get rid of it. You need to just like the math equation, just cancel it out, figure out how to get rid of it. I don't know how, because I don't know what your particular issue is, but you have to figure out how to get rid of it. All right, here we go. Here's the card. We get this card a lot, people. All right, here we go. Deep freeze, number 26. You see that? I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, deep freeze. Okay, once again, we get the reminder that we have to go within and make our decisions. We have to hibernate, right? And take stock, because that's what's happening right now. And we're in winter, in the winter season here in the Northern Hemisphere. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it's summer, so it doesn't apply. But for those of you who need the reminder, we are in winter. And what happens in winter, right? If it snows where you are, everything kind of gets blanketed under the snow. And underneath the ground, even if it's frozen, there are things happening. And everything is staying stagnant according to what we can see. But nature is doing what nature does, which is rest, right? Rest and renew. That's what it's doing. And so that's what you need to do right now. You need to rest and renew. And how do you renew? You have to figure out what you need to do before you like re-enter, right? Before you come out into the spring of your seasons, right? In your own season, when you're ready to like kind of come out and say, okay, let's take things to the next level. You have to be super clear as to where you're going, how you're going to do it, and what kind of person you are going to be when you're doing it, because that's going to dictate what comes next, right? That's going to dictate whether or not you're going to be able to achieve that balance. And you should be relentless with your clearing and cleansing activities. And what I mean by that is literally go through every single thing in your life. And if it is not supporting or contributing to your highest healing, right? Supporting or contributing to your life or to your future aspirations, right? Who you want to be. If it's not helping you, supporting you, or contributing to you in order for you to become and to step into the person that you want to be, that it needs to be removed from your life. It needs to be dropped from that scale, because if you don't remove it, then you will always have that extra weight here holding you back from achieving alignment with the thing that you want most. Okay, that's our message for today. I hope you enjoyed the show. I will be back again tomorrow. I'm here every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. EST, of course. Well, of course, because for those of you who watch the show know I'm in New York. And I'd love for you to go right to my YouTube page, go to Jumpstart for Change, and subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. And if you have already done so, fantastic. Please spread the word to your friends. Anybody who needs a little extra motivation, a little extra love, and who wants to like breathe into their wings, invite them to come onto the show. I really, truly appreciate you and love you all. Have a great day. Bye.